Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Pretty good. Nice to talk to you, bro.
Yeah. Sorry about the delay. I'm just running around here in the studio. I've got a band coming in tomorrow, so I've just been running around trying to set up. I didn't know it till like this afternoon. So anyway, I'm having one of those days. How's everything out there?
Very, very cold.
Now, where are you in Illinois, or are you on the West Coast?
I'm in Illinois, Moline, Illinois, to be
Uh,
more specific.
okay, yeah,
Have you heard of
nice.
Davenport or the QC, the Quad Cities?
Yeah, of course, Quad Cities. Yeah,
Have you played up here before?
I don't think so. That's Davenport, Iowa. You mean? Isn't that over there? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's right. Davenport, Iowa's right across the bridge.
Yeah. No, I know. We might have played there once, but passed through there, of course. A lot, or close to it anyway.
First and foremost, I just gotta say thank you for this opportunity, and second and foremost, um, I know you probably get this a lot, but my favorite album by the Queers is "Love Songs for the Retarded," and it's actually thanks to your band that I discovered which your band is one of my favorite bands, but another favorite band of mine through your 7-inch of "My Old Man's a Fatso." I didn't know that was the Angry Samoans cover, and
Oh, yeah,
I was just
yeah.
talking to Greg Turner, the guitarist and vocalist from Angry Samoans, about a month ago, and I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know that that was your song until a little bit of research. I mean, I've always had it back from Samoa, but um,
Right, yeah.
he did you guys were you friends with the Angry Samoans, or how did that 7-inch cover come to be?"
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm friends with Metal Mike now, but I just, we had heard the song, of course, way back when it came out. I was living out west then, and so I used to listen to it on Sunday nights, K Rock, Rodney and the Rock, and he played it. That's where I first heard it when I lived in Hermosa Beach, and so we just, I don't know, that was just like, went straight to the simple little hearts and minds of the Queers. So we were like, we got to play this on General Principle. So we played with a few shows with them, and actually played the song. Like, they played first, then we get up there and we played it too. Pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Who did
yeah.
the artwork for that? Because it's got that big Republican dad with the "Bomb Iran" on the front of it.
Oh, B-Face did that.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I was at. Have you heard of Love Garden Sound in Lawrence, Kansas? It's a record store.
Is it right along the main drag? What is the main drag? Massachusetts Avenue? Is that it,
Yeah,
or New
yep.
Hampshire or something? Yeah.
It's right along Massachusetts Avenue. But
Yeah.
about 10 to 15 years ago, I stumbled upon the My Old Man's a Fatso 7-inch, and I was like, awesome! It's by the Queers because I only own three records by the Queers: Grow Up, Love Songs for the Retarded, Punk Rock Confidential Revisited, and Don't Back Down. Those are the only
Gotcha.
physical albums that
Yeah.
I own. Which, by the way, but you know my friend KK Noodlebrain, he just added him.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, I remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a diehard Queers fan, and he I'm gonna when I send you stuff to sign, there's gonna be some stuff in there for him, cause he really, really,
Oh,
really wants to get I bought him a Love Songs for the Retarded cassette, cause that's his favorite album, and a couple of the things in the package will be for me, and a couple will be for him. I'll have them specifically marked, but yeah, he wanted me to send some
oh, no
stuff.
problem at all. No problem. Yeah, glad to do it.
Yeah, so uh unlike a lot of the bands that I've interviewed, which many of them I know quite a bit about the backstory, but I gotta say, I'm a little hazy on the history of the Queers because, like I said, I've owned four albums. But
Yeah.
where did that name come from?
We were just sitting around drinking and thought we'd start a band, and it was just a name to piss people off, and that's where it came from. It was kind of a goof, and we just
Yeah,
sort of stuck with it.
bit of
So,
envelope pusher there. Because I thought maybe that since the original, because I know there's a band called the Weirdos, and I thought maybe that since that was taken, because queer technically does mean weirdo or strange, the original definition, so I thought maybe that was what you guys were going for, but yeah, still pretty awesome though. Did you
Yeah, there was someone hit me up on Facebook saying, "You fucking poser stole this name from this band." Apparently, there was a band in like for 6 months back in Texas, someplace called the Teenage Queers, which that was the first time I heard of it, which was literally last year. And the guy's like, "You stole this name." And I'm like, "Dude, sorry, but I'm in New Hampshire. Fucking, I never got near Texas, or it was like we had the internet back then. Nobody knew about bands, so." But anyway, yeah, it's a name that we stuck with.
did you how much flack did you get for that back in the day and now?
Well, it's come full circle. In the old days, you'd get these rednecks that would want to beat you up. Then we went on our early days of touring, same thing. You guys, Black Panzer Division, homos. A lot of these guys would think we were. They just hear there's some ultra, gay band, which was Pansy Division, and so they thought it was us, and so they'd want to beat us up, and so we got all that shit. And now these days with this ridiculous PC thing,
Yes.
now we get shit from the PC crowd where, it's like support queers, not the queers, and blah blah blah. So it's like fucking idiots. But I don't pay much attention to that shit anyway. But anyway, it is funny that it's come full circle. Here's guys that we got Nazis attacking us and beat up because we're allegedly gay and all that stuff. And all of a sudden people are like, "Joe, queer's a Nazi." And I'm like, God, I wish I'd fucking known. I wish I had known I was a Nazi, because then I could have said to the Nazis that were pounding the shit out of me, "Hey, guys, I'm a Nazi. Don't worry." It's fucking ridiculous with these fuckers. I don't care. I can't stand, that whole PC shit. They can all fuck themselves. I don't care.
Do they not know that you have songs where you're dead against white supremacy? Can't you?
Oh, no, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Apparently, I had a Confederate. I moved down to Atlanta. I'm a fucking skinny little guy from New England, right? So moving down here to a George is like, if you have a Confederate flag head, now you don't see them, but it meant you were like a truck driving redneck good old boy. It was nothing about racism. And so I was like, oh, someone gave me one. I stuck it at a show, and I stuck it on my amp. So because of that, I've had people like, "Oh, dude, you racist, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, hey, what these people don't tell you is that I had it on for at least 5 years before all of a sudden that Dylan Roof guy killed those poor black people at Bible study and blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you can't have the Confederate flag. So, of course, I took it off. But reverse, retroactive racism, boom, guilty. Fucking, you had it on there. You had it because you hate blacks. You want to kill them, blah, blah, blah. It's just like whatever. But they don't, everything's taken out of context. So they don't care that I've sung "You're Tripping" about Nazi racists for fucking, 30 years now. That doesn't matter. I had a sticker on one time, you know what I mean? These fucking people, you can't apologize to these guys.
You say minor threat, guilty of being white. I'm sorry for a crime that was committed 400 years before my time,
Right, exactly. right. Reparations and all this stuff. It's just like, oh my God, I don't, Anyway, don't get me going on all that fucking bullshit. But anyway, if there's still a name that pisses them off, and I really like to piss off the PC crowd even more than the rednecks in the old days.
Because they get the bigger reactions.
Much more fun. Oh, good. You know what these guys are like? They're like your little brother that you poke and he gets mad and yells at the mom and says, "Mom, make him stop." But, when your mom's not around, you keep poking him and he gets all pissed off. And it's just so much fun to poke him. You know what I mean? When your mom's not around. And that's how it is with these PC fuckers. Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah, hell, I'm only 27, but I remember even No Effects in them in the 2000s, like, their main demographic was to mock and, make fun of the religious right and all that, and now even it's so weird to hear legendary punk rockers, including yourself, like, mock the left, including the right. Like, I know Fear, they've always done that,
right.
But it's like, wow, now the left wing is a bunch of fucking crybabies, like the right used to be. The people who were like, right. "Oh, you can't, that's Antichrist." That used to be who punk was after. Now it's, "Oh, you're too offensive for me. I don't like that word." It's like,
oh, I know. Someone said, Yeah, someone called a girl a cunt. Are you fucking kidding me? You know how many times I've been called a cunt in my life? Like, it didn't bother me one fucking bit.
Yeah, it makes it
Jesus
super
Christ.
hard for, people who within, like, people like yourself to say anything. Or not even that, just online. You can't say shit anymore without anyone getting offended by words. It's like, what the hell? Calm
I
down.
don't give a fuck. You see, that with me, they complain anyway, no matter what I said. I just read a review on the new album today,
Save the world.
and the fucking and the asshole. It was a nice review, and I didn't care. I don't care about the reviews. I know if I have a good album or not. I don't have to read a review. I don't give a shit. But I did read
Self-confidence,
the
hell
first
yeah.
part of it. Yeah, I read the first part of it, and he's like, "Well, Joe Queer can certainly write a great pop punk song, even in spite of the fact he has weird feelings about cops and something else." And I was like, "You fucking asshole! That's this whole." Like, if you want to get personal like that, then the guy should contact me and ask me what my views are, because he's basing it on some fucking word of mouth online smear game against me, like as if and people, dude, I'm not kidding you. I've had people at shows call me a cop lover. I mean,
What?
it's just like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not a cop lover. I'm not a cop hater. I'm like, I've had my ass handed to me by cops, a fair number of times, so I'm certainly not a
Yeah.
cop lover, but I mean, saying that I hate all cops are bastards, is like saying I hate all punk rockers, or I hate all baseball players, or I hate all nurses,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
there's
It's like,
good cops
fucking
out
shut
there.
up. And these would be the first people to say, if you said all Muslims are terrorists, you fucking racist, you know what I mean? And, that's what they would be. They just cannot see the hypocrisy. The other thing getting online, I love going online on Facebook and sticking up for Trump. That's another thing. Oh, they all hate Trump. I fucking don't care. I'm not even I'm a Democrat. I fucking like whatever, dude. It's too much fun because these people are so hypocritical. Some guy was on there going, Trump needs to fucking secede to Biden or something like that. And I can't believe all these Republicans. And I go, yeah, we've just had 4 years of us Democrats bitching, saying Trump wasn't a legitimate fucking president, and all this Russian hoax and impeachment, all this bullshit, but they can't fucking complain for 2 months. And I said, and furthermore, if Trump had won again, the Democrats would be saying exactly what the Republicans are saying now. So they're fucking so
Yeah,
hypocritical,
exactly.
they can't fucking understand it. I go, dude, I'm a fucking liberal. I'm a Democrat, but you people are full of shit.
It's
Fucking
only
Joe Biden. He's
fraud
another
when
bullshit artist.
it's only fraud when Trump loses. Or I had a feeling that was
Yeah.
going to happen regardless. Oh, there's no way we could. I can't do a Trump impression. Oh, there's no way I could have lost
Yeah.
the election. It's fraud. I can't do a Trump
Yeah.
impersonation.
Yeah.
He's got that weird, sagging kind of back alley, street corner, New York type of voice going on.
Yeah.
That's the best one I've done so far. You mentioned a term in there that I was gonna bring up to you. So, although I don't really consider your band to be pop punk, because I consider pop punk like Blink-182 or Green Day, something fully radio friendly.
Mm.
Can you describe, like, since obviously you've been tossed that term quite a bit through your life, what is pop punk to you? Like, what goes from pop punk to punk rock? Because I ask people this all the time, but since you're in a band that's considered pop punk by some, what does that mean to you?
Well, to me, it just kind of means more on the melodic, Ramonesy, Screeching Weasel side of the
Yeah, I
street,
can
which
hear
Green
that.
Day kind of is. But I understand that too. A lot of people would call emo bands pop punk bands and all that shit. It got kind of, it's not such a defined term. But definitely for us, pop punk, there's a lot of punk in the pop,
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of what it means for me. So, Mild Man's a Fatso, we play that song, that stuff, that would be considered punk. So I think the problem with a lot of these pop punk bands is that they're too one-dimensional. And when the songs are just okay, they kind of suck to me. I love a great pop punk song, but there's not a million bands doing it well. So, I don't know. It got kind of watered down, but I don't know. a lot of that, yeah, I guess the emo thing, that came in and they started calling that pop punk. But, yeah, the Green Day, I thought the cool thing with them was they had those songs for Dookie that was just their next album. They didn't change a thing to get big. They just worked with a bigger producer when they left Lookout Records and got on a bigger label. But those were the songs they had sitting around. And I thought it was great that they didn't change their sound at all. Blink, I they're good guys, but I never had any respect for them. I never heard anything that I was impressed by. Green Day and that whole ilk of those bands that kind of made it with that Green Day sound. Green Day was the one great band. They were great.
Oh, yeah, I love Green Day.
But,
Insomniac's my favorite.
Yeah, but I don't like that new album too much. But
but
whatever. Yeah,
it's a different taste. It is. It's kind of got some loungy rock going in there with one of my friends, JB Allen from the Punk Rock Appreciation Society. The first, what the fuck was the first song they released? I think it was Father of All. He's like, damn, that looks like a T-Mobile ad. It does. Like their first video, it's Billy and them are in pink and all that. It looks like a total T-Mobile ad.
Yeah. I think they set the bar so high with those killer albums that after a while they had nowhere to go, really. They were just, how do you top that? They came out, Dookie, and it was just so good. And I always, I think it's hard to keep up that level of musicianship. But they were the one great band. You had your Blinks, and you had your Sum 41, and you had Fallout, down to Fall Out Boy, and you had, Goldfinger had that hit label. They were good bands, but Green Day was the one great fucking band. They were out of that whole genre right there. But that's kind of a side of pop punk a little further away from us. But a lot of the pop punk bands, the two one-dimensional one, they don't have like slower songs like us. They'll have, Gay Dreaming off Love Songs or Deborah Jean or something like that. And so that's what sets you apart. And I learned that from talking to Joey Ramone. I mean, I always had those songs, but yet talking to him. Yeah, and he told me, he said, too many of these fucking bands they stay punk for the sake of staying punk. Not let the music lead you where it goes. And he told me, he said, we did I'll Be True to You and Grow Up. He liked that song. We opened up for him a few times. And he liked that. And he said, it gives you a whole different side to your band and shows you're into songwriting and stuff. But too many bands just get up there and they play for 42 minutes or 48 minutes or whatever, and just, you can't remember a song when you leave. You know what I mean? You can't remember one song. So that's where the Queers, we've got the slow songs, we got the fast mid-tempo.
Yeah.
And people remember our songs. Our new album's exactly like that.
I haven't heard Save the World.
We could have done it after Love Songs. That album would have been a classic right now. Because people, I can always tell you a good Queers album. I mean, I know it anyway, but I see the reviews and people go, this is my favorite. Every song off the new album, I've had someone email me, text me, call me, whatever. I've seen it in a review. This is my favorite song. No, this is my, so every single song in the album has someone has come up and said, that's my favorite song in the album. Then I know it's a good album. So, but see a lot of bands I don't think do that. They don't branch out. Look at Green Day. They had a great fucking album, Dookie. Insomniac. I mean, that shit was
organ
great.
And piano in your music, which I love that. I think I was listening to Grow Up, and there was some organ/piano in there, and that hit. Just it was in the right time. It felt it was in the right spot for it too.
Yeah, that album came out good. That was my favorite album for a long time. But you go through phases and try to move ahead. But our new album, have you heard our new album?
No, I actually just discovered its existence today thanks to Noodles.
Yeah, it's kind of keeping with a love song side of the street. It wasn't like a conscious thing, but when we listen to everything, I go, fuck, man. It sounds more like a love song. It's 15, 14 songs, fast, short songs here and there. But
I saw the artwork on it, and it's got that 50s. I'm just going to say, your band has this very 50s doo-wop fusion in some of the punk rock you put out.
Yeah, well, I grew up with that stuff, and that's what I grew up with. Back when I was young, the AM radio, you'd listen to shit on the AM radio. It was always catchy. Turtles, Rolling Stones, Del Shannon, Paul Revere and the Raiders, the Monkees, and that's what I always loved, and that's what I try to make, that type of music that's catchy, So
You have succeeded, and it sounds good too. I mean, I haven't
yeah,
heard
there's
the
some
newest
cool
one, but
ones.
yeah.
I'm in the studio remixing one of the songs from the album called "If I Had a Girl Like You," and Kelly from the Dolly Rod sings backup vocals on it, and I wanted to make a song that like maybe Phil Spector could have produced or something, and I really think we hit it with that song, If I Had a Girl Like You. I thought that one came out really good, and that was my whole mindset on that ahead of time. I was like, oh, once I heard it, I go, fuck, we could do a lot with it. But see, the thing is, I'll tell you, if you take that song, when you listen to it, If I Had a Girl Like You, it's like fucking 4 chords. There's nothing to it. But when you add in the back vocals and all that stuff, that's what makes that song. If you hear it stripped down with just the drums, bass, guitar, and my voice, Honk Fucking Kong is another one off the new album. We did it and no back vocals, and it was like, I said, guys, this song ain't going to make it for the album. All of a sudden, I came up one day driving down the van listening to a rough mix of it. I came up with that back vocal, ooh, ba, ba, ooh, ba, ba, ooh, ba, 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 ooh. And I came in and I demoed it, and I did the parts, and all of a sudden, the song fucking came together. Great, yeah. People love it. But without those back vocals, I mean, yeah, a lot of these bands, the bass player will sing backups on the chorus or something with the lead singer. But this is like, you got to come up with inventive parts, musical. And so I think that's what separates separates us and Weasel from a lot of bands. But, whatever.
Oh, you're definitely a one-of-a-kind band. Like, sorry, one of my favorite lines from one of your songs, which, my grandfather, he raised me, rest in peace to him. He passed away in 2016, but for the longest time, I really couldn't stand the Beatles and the Stones and the Grateful Dead and all that, and you probably know where this is going. And your song, I Hate Everything, I hate that Grateful Dead, hippie stands are such a waste. I played that for my grandpa once because he kept annoying me with his music. That was a very refining moment in my childhood. He's like, how dare you insult the Grateful Dead? I was like, they're shitty, they're annoying, which I listen to that today, but you were a part of Lookout Records, and I know Green Day is blamed for the death of Lookout Records by most. Do you have any opinions on that, or like?
No, Green Day, they didn't kill the label. They didn't kill it at all. Who says that? They didn't.
A lot of people that probably weren't there say it. Like, I mean, if you go to a record,
Green Day didn't kill the label at all.
Because people,
they ran it into the ground, and then Green Day left their first 2 albums on Lookout, and they said with the deal, they just said, just pay us on time. I guess it was once a year. They made it. They weren't holding the Lookout's feet to the fire, and they said, just pay us. And then Lookout kept fucking up, and they didn't pay them. And finally, Green Day took their albums. Screeching Weasel took their albums. We went back, but by then it was dying, so it kind of sucked. But Green Day, they didn't kill the label. If anything, they kept the label going.
Because what I've heard specifically is that Green Day sold out to Warner Reprise, and then they left Lookout with empty-handed and practically ran a bankrupt. That's what I've heard forever.
No, that's complete bullshit, dude. What happened was when they got signed to Lookout, first off, Lookout knew that Green Day was getting too big. There was no way they were going to keep them. They had to go to one major label. So they kept their first 2 albums on Lookout. If they had taken the albums, would have been one thing, but they didn't. And those early albums, when Green Day hit it big with Dookie, their first 2 albums on Lookout hit it huge. So all of a sudden, Lookout became worth millions because of those 2 Green Day albums. So we got sucked up into that, but it wasn't because, they didn't take their albums back till the label was just about underwater, like when we did. Green Day, they left their albums there. But Lookout just wasn't paying them on time and kept fucking around with royalties, and they said, forget it.
Similar to SST.
But Lookout wouldn't have been anywhere near as big as they were without Green Day. No way. Absolutely not. They made millions off that deal. I think Larry said the first 2 Green Day albums sold $4 million each on Lookout. after Dookie. It was something incredible like that.
That's
But
insane.
right, and so they made money, but the label made millions, literally millions.
Oh, I'm
So
sure
that's
they
what.
did.
Yeah, that's what went on there. But certainly Green Day had nothing to do except building the label up. So.
Damn.
Yeah, no, they didn't kill the label. They wouldn't have done it anyway. Green Day are good guys. They're down to earth.
Yeah, I was
They're
gonna
not fucking.
say, I've never
You know what I
interviewed
mean?
Billy Joe Armstrong, but he doesn't seem like a con artist. He doesn't seem like what mostly a lot of younger punks my age and younger have the mindset that Green Day sold out and killed Lookout. So I was kind of just, since you were a part of the Lookout
No,
family for a while, I figured I'd ask you, since I don't
yeah,
think I'm
no,
getting Billy on the
no.
phone.
Yeah, yeah. When you get a band that was happening, I mean, the one band, Ben Weasel told me, I mean, I knew Green Day, but he said they're going to hit it big. The one band that's going to hit it big is Green fucking Day. And before they hit it with Dookie, he said they're the perfect band in the perfect spot to hit it big. So look out, look out, we're psyched for them. They were all family, and Larry stayed, I think Larry's still friends with Billy and Trey and those guys now. And, they still live around Berkeley, I think, so. But no, they're good guys. They're not. They wouldn't do anything to hurt anybody. But it got to the point where Lookout wasn't paying them.
Yeah, that's not
And that was
good.
long after Larry left, and so they mismanaged the label. And it's easy in hindsight to look back. All my memories on Lookout were great. I was sorry to see the label go, but they did a great job for a long time. And I don't know if I could run it any better than they did. Probably nowhere near. So. I'm going to reserve judgment on those guys, but it was a great label for a long time.
Aside that one thing, that's the only negative thing I've ever heard, and it's obviously untrue. So, yeah, I know. I think I've got a couple of Lookout. I've got your albums on Lookout, the Love Songs for the Retarded cassette. I've got that on there. I got to get the vinyl version. So you just released a new album. When was it released specifically? Like, how many months
Monday.
ago? Oh, it was like
Monday.
brand fucking new then.
Yeah, it just came out. Yep.
Well, that's probably why I haven't heard of it then. I'm definitely gonna.
Yeah. We had a couple of songs off it on YouTube, and then it just came out midnight on Monday, I guess.
What
it was.
label is it on?
It's called All Star Records, but it's distributed through Asian Man Records.
I know of that name. Yeah, I was
Yep.
wondering if it was another case of the freeze, because I don't know if you talked to Cliffhanger in them, but in 2019 when Calling All Creatures came out, the album was released towards the beginning of the year, and Slope Records did absolutely nothing to promote it for several months. That's why when Cliff got on the phone with me, he was like, "Have you heard of Calling All Creatures?" I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's our new album." I was like, "Huh, I haven't heard nothing." He's like, "God damn it." He's like, "The fucking label won't promote it." And so he spent like months just promoting it himself. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out Save the World, because yeah, I need to own that. Is it on cassette tape at all?
A guy in Italy, if you contact our Euro releases through Striped Records, it's the band The Manges, Manges, The Manges, it's their label. And our album's on there, but Jimbo Andrea, the singer, he's working with a guy who contacted me a few weeks ago. He's doing cassettes, and I think he's got them now. So if you hit up Striped Records, just say Joe sent me, and he'll direct you to the guy with the cassettes. But they've got them now, I think, yeah.
Hell
But
yeah.
none over here that I know of.
Oh, okay. I'll hit that up, because I know Noodles. I think he asked about that. Yeah, in the Philippines, which is I'm currently in the U.S., but I'm married over there. That's actually how I know Noodles. His real name's Kevin, but he
I got you.
I married over there, and I lived over there in 2018 to 2019 for about a year. And previously, cassette tapes with me were, yeah, I had a handful of them, but the Philippines, Southeast Asia, that is the main medium is cassette and vinyl. Like, I've never seen a place so infatuated with cassette tapes, which I love cassettes. They're great. You can throw 200 of them in a backpack, grab your Walkman, and go. But
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
yeah. So your band was formed in 1980-81, right?
Yep.
And your first studio album came out in 90. Grow Up.
Yeah, we weren't together like for all the time. We got together for the early 7 inches, and then we did a handful of gigs, but then it kind of fell apart. And then in the mid '80s, I went down to Boston. We lived in New Hampshire, about an hour north. So I met some of my Portsmouth, New Hampshire guys went down to Boston, and I went with them, Kevin Kesey, and met guys in Boston and played with them and bounced around, and we recorded some stuff. We opened up for the Ramones then, we played with the Samoans, the Dickies, some good gigs, but nothing big. And then in 1990, an English label wanted to put out an album by us, and we took a bunch of stuff we'd recorded, and it wasn't recorded as an album, but all that Grow Up stuff was from 2 or 3 different sessions.
Shakin' Street Records?
Shakin' Street, yep.
Nice.
Totally, yep. Alan Billsworth, yep. So that's where it came out, yep.
Yeah, I was wondering, as I noticed the 10-year gap there, and I've always kind of wondered if you had any 80s studio albums. So just those 7
Yeah,
inches.
that was, Grow Up was that album's what we were doing during the 80s. So that was, mainly, I had other songs, but that was what we had recorded. So that was a good, right there, Grow Up is basically what we were playing around Boston. I thought it was a great album, too.
Oh, yeah,
the recording
that's a
could have been
fantastic
better,
album.
but I thought the songs, I'll still throw it on once in a while I listen to it. I like it.
What's kind of funny about that album is, before I first heard it, so if you look at just the front of it, it says the Queers Grow Up and Sky on there, it almost looks like an 80s hardcore album, like Jerry's Kids and all them,
Yeah.
Negative Approach. Yeah. It looks like that, and then you listen to it, and you're like, oh, wow, this is different. And then you got some hardcore stuff on there, but some slow stuff, and I love the mix-up.
Yeah. Well, that's when I sent that album. Well, those songs I sent to Ben Weasel when I first met him. And I wrote him a letter because I had heard Bug It Up. And so I sent him the album, and he loved it. Burger King Queen. He liked just about the whole thing. But another story was that we met Joey Ramone, our other bass player way back then. Kevin Kesey knew the Ramones. I got to know Joey quite well and lost touch with Kevin. But at the time, Kevin knew Joey well. So we opened up for him way back. Anyway, we sent a 4-song cassette to Joey, and it had Love, 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 Goodbye, California, I'll Be True to You, and I Don't Want to Get Involved with You. So Joey loved Love, Love, Love and said he wanted to cover it. So, I remember walking backstage. I bullshitted my way backstage at the University of New Hampshire a month or 2 after I'd sent him the tape, and I said, hey, Joey, it's Joe from the Queers. Oh, hey, man. And he came right up and immediately said, I love Goodbye, California, Love, Love, Love. Those are good songs. And it really fucking gave me goosebumps because I knew he had listened to the cassette tape because, you know what I mean? There was no internet back then. I hadn't talked to him on the phone. I didn't have his number at the time. And I just said, I'm in the Queers, and boom, he came right up and fucking, was all about the songs. And he listened, I'll Be True to You, and I Don't Want to Get Involved with You. And it was like really cool. And he goes, those are great songs, man. Let me tell you, those are good songs. And that really struck a chord with me. It really meant a lot to me back in like 1986. I was like, wow, man, because this was my hero, the Ramones.
Well,
so, so that was pretty cool. And so it's fun meeting him. But, sometimes Joey was, I knew he would be a good guy, but I learned a lot from him about the music business, just watching him operate, talking to him on the phone, just getting his philosophy. And he had a wonderful attitude and just loved playing music and all he had got from it. It was great.
There's a cassette tape. I'm trying to find it again. I'm actually going to buy it I might be buying it for Noodles for a Christmas present. I tried to find it on Discogs. It's a Queers album. I believe it's Rocket to Russia, but it doesn't look like an official. It's, okay, from the description of it, this was distributed on a tour when Rocket to Russia. It's Rocket to Russia, but it looks like it's DIY, but the description is that you guys handed this out numbered on a tour. Is this a real album?
No, that's a lie.
Oh,
we did have some numbered copies. We recorded it. There was a bunch of bands doing Ramones albums. This was like probably 1993. and Screeching Weasel had done the first Ramones, so Ben suggested we do the second one. Todd from Selfless Records, Clearview Records, he did it. And other guy I'm in touch with now, well, Ben too. And anyway, so we did it just kind of as a whim, but we might have sold them on a tour, but anyway, that's how it came about.
Yeah, it's on the Discogs for about $96. Yeah, there's complete covers of the Ramones Rocket Rush LP, the tour edition cassettes sold at shows, J cards printed on pink cardstock, limited to 300 and hand numbered.
Well, maybe maybe that sounds about right. There was probably a few hundred copies of that first one, I guess.
It looks totally DIY.
I don't know. That's probably about right. I didn't pay much attention to this shit, but I think that's right.
I just wanted to ask you because if it's a total bootleg, like someone literally just making this shit up off the top, I'm not gonna buy it. But if this is a genuine Queers album, then yeah, because it's $95.
Yeah,
little steep there.
We did the album. No, that's yeah, we did it. We recorded it.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a super cool album thing too. You guys just totally DIY'd that. And it even looks like I'm looking at pictures on Discogs. The front and the back of the tape, the paper labels look like they're Sharpied almost. I mean, you can tell it was made with a computer, but it looks totally DIY. Totally awesome on that.
Yeah, much of it was back then. D-Face, our bass player back then on Love Songs and shit, he would do art. And I regret, actually, I was going to ask him to do some shit in the new album. I still talk to him, but I didn't. I wish I had. But he was a good artist. He did that one for the Mild Man's of Fatso 7-inch on Wound Up Records. Our friend, who I just talked to him tonight, actually, too, he put out he had a label called Wound Up Records, and he was based out of Kansas City.
Oh,
and
nice.
That's why you found it over there in Lawrence, because he was always over there in Lawrence. That's where he hung out in Lawrence a lot, so that's why he knew all those people.
Oh, there it is. I just found a copy of before I do this, do you have any copies of Save the World personally that I could personally buy from you?
No, I don't. Just get them off Lookout, listen to me. Get them off Asian Man. Asian Man has them.
All right.
Yeah, I get them there. Thanks, but I don't. I've had people, someone called me up, texted me and said, hey, can you sign my album? I said, yeah, sure. And they got them in the mail today, and they said, you didn't sign them? I'm like, dude, I don't sit here and fucking send out all the albums. So, anyway, yeah, just get it off them because I don't have my copies, and I don't know when I'm going to get mine. So, I'd be glad to.
That's why I was.
Thank you.
The reason I said that to you specifically is because, like, with Dave Dichter and Todd Swalla and many of the others I've interviewed, I like to personally buy from you yourself because that profits you as the artist versus, how labels can be.
We're Asian Man's the best label out there. They are on the side of the band, so thank you. And that's right with most labels I've been on. But Lookout and Asian Man are two of the best labels I was out there. So they take care of us. Mike Park, Mike's great. He's on the band side, so it's great.
Another label question I was going to ask you, just because I read this on Wikipedia, which I kind of knew this beforehand, but you released, where the fuck did it go? Oh, 1, 2, maybe 3 records on Hopeless Records, Confidential, or Punk Rock Confidential and Beyond the Valley.
Yes, yeah.
How was your relationship with Hopeless Records?
Not very good.
I knew that was coming. One of my favorite bands from them is Against All Authority, and
with who?
Against All Authority. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, good band.
Yeah, they I don't remember who the hell it was, but someone out of that band. I know Hopeless is kind of has a bad street name. Like, how did they treat you as a band?
They just didn't. They ripped off bands, I mean, we never get paid by them. That's why we did the Punk Rock Confidential Revisited, which was kind of a, just sort of a different take on all the songs. I love the original album, and we didn't try to top it. But they just, they say to this day I owe them money, $2,000. It's ridiculous. But anyway, They just didn't. They had a reputation that I didn't know back then for not paying bands. So anyway, it didn't work out that good. I mean, at the time they got our albums out and all that shit, but I don't know. I just wasn't.
I
wasn't
get, I get what you mean.
It didn't work.
I know a couple bands from that label who have unfortunate, like nothing terribly bad, but just they're not that good of a label. And I noticed I've got I must have the Asian Man. Yeah, I've got the Asian Man Records version of Punk Rock Confidential because mine's not from Hopeless.
Yeah. That's. It's not as good as the original, but it's not meant to be. It's kind of alternate takes off that album, and that's what it was. And I kind of did it just to piss Hopeless off because they never pay us. So I know. I mean, I haven't been paid for that album in fucking 20 some odd years,
Holy
and it
shit.
pisses me off when I see them out there. You know, it sucks.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons right there why other than interviews and whatnot. I mean, I run a small, and when I say small, 100 to 200 run cassette tape label myself, but I always make sure to pay bands, and that's one thing that I always make sure to ask someone who I interview is, can I buy, even if I own a copy of the album, like let's say you had copies of your newest one on you, hey, can I buy one from you just to support you to make sure that you get the money for the work you put out there? I'm very adamant on that.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I mean, we don't have a problem with any of that stuff. We get paid. Same with the Strike Records over there in Europe. Those guys are like family to me. Mike, who runs Asian Man, he's like family too. So, you know, he would no sooner rip us off than rip his mom off. You know what I mean? So and vice versa. You know, he's a loved character for a reason. Larry was like that too. Larry Livermore. So, and Chris and those guys are Molly. So they were really upfront. So. Yeah, anyway, Hopeless didn't work out. It was my fault for signing a 3-album deal. If we only signed a 1-album deal, it would have been okay, but I signed 3. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Well, we learn. One thing I was going to bring up, which most queer fans who know your band a lot better than I do, they probably would know more about this than I would, but can you tell me about Wimpy? Because Noodles has brought his name up quite a few times. I know what his voice sounds like because I've heard him in the early recordings, but yeah, could you tell me about Wimpy a little bit?
Well, he was the original singer. On the first record, he played drums on some of the songs, then Tulu did, and then Tulu went to drums, and Wimpy started singing. So he was the singer for we got an album, Day Late and a Dollar Short, that we recorded. It was all old songs we had from the old days that we had never recorded. So me, B-Face, and Hugh, it was right after Love Songs, I think. We went in the studio with Wimpy and redid those songs. And so if you listen to Day Late and a Dollar Short, it's on Asian Man now, that's the Wimpy era. It was more of we were really at the time into Black Flag TV Party and, you know, more of a short, fast punk songs. And, you know, then it kind of ran its course because I wanted to do more melodic stuff. And certainly Wimpy's great, but he can't sing I'll Be True to You or anything. So I went and I became the singer, and so that kind of ran its course. But it was fun, and he still sings with us. Matter of fact, a month ago, I just flew up to Boston. We were working on songs we were doing a project called The Drunken Cholos, and so we're working on an album together. So he's one of my oldest friends from music, or just about one of my oldest friends ever. So he's still in there. It's more punk stuff though. So some people like it, some people don't. But certainly it had its place.
So he's the vocalist for some of your more aggressive punk stuff then? Because I have noticed a different, I don't know if it's a different vocalist or not, but I have noticed that it sounds like there's 2 vocalists. Like I said, I don't know the entire story of the Queers like Noodles or someone would, but so is Wimpy the one who does the more aggressive songs?
Yeah, on the shorter, faster, punky things that are real well, that's Wimpy, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, songs like Kicked Out of the Weeblos, This Place Sucks, I Like Young Girls, that was all Day Late and a Dollar Short. That was I'm Useless, I Don't Want to Work, that was all at the mall. That was all wimpy. Yeah, that was what we were like back then. All short songs. We just go bang, bang, bang. So it was fun. It was great. He will still jump on stage with us, and and come up, and we'll end a set with him for 10 minutes playing those songs.
On the Love Songs for the Retarded, is that your biggest record you've ever had?
No, Don't Back Down was.
Oh. Well, I mentioned that because that's the one that I hear about everywhere, and that's actually the one that got me into your band. But on the earlier question, I mentioned the Grateful Dead. Are you a fan of hippie rock or whatever you want to call it?
No, I mean, the thing I always say about the Grateful Dead wasn't that I didn't hate the music so much. I mean, I don't know, probably some of the bluegrass stuff I even like. I don't listen to it, but what I hated about them was the people who followed them. You know what I mean? That's what I hated, was the Deadheads. I hated the whole scene.
The Deadheads?
So, yeah, I mean, they were just hippie musicians doing their thing and got famous, and more power to them. But it was the Deadheads and all that shit. I just always hated that. That aspect of the Grateful Dead.
Is that what they called their fans, Deadheads?
Yeah, Deadheads. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
Good God.
Yeah.
Wowzers. That's yeah, I've never really been much of a Grateful Dead fan. It's hard for me. I gotta be on a lot of weed to really sit there and it's just
yeah.
Some of that hippie shit.
Hold on can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry about that. I was walking through the kitchen and my wife didn't feed the dogs. I just told her to feed them. Yeah, I can't listen to that shit. I mean, even when I used to do drugs, I couldn't listen to that crap. It's just, I don't know. It's like when you walk in at Starbucks or something, the music they've got playing. I'll always bring my phone with me and I fucking hit Shazam to find out who it is, and it's some fucking artist I've never heard of. And they're fucking lame as hell. It's horrible. So, every once in a while you'll hear a song at Starbucks that's good. But, few and far between, I guess, But anyway, the Grateful Dead, yeah, I know. I mean, when you say hippie stuff, I mean, I saw Pink Floyd way back in high school.
Damn.
And that was actually a good show. Yeah, Pink Floyd was great. That's kind of hippie-ish, I guess. But as far as, real hippie stuff like the Grateful Dead, no, I didn't like any of that shit at all. But I saw many bands, because back in the day, remember, you would go to the Boston Garden in Boston to see a show. No matter who went, it was a Friday or a Saturday night, there was a show, you'd go. So you didn't care if it was Steve Miller or fucking Jefferson Airplane, or, you know what I mean? You would just go because it was a show and you could go with your friends. You didn't necessarily... The band Boston, I saw those clowns. Leonard Skinner, the Outlaws. I mean, I saw a ton of fucking whacked out bands. A lot of great ones, but Jethro Tull, I've seen them 4 or 5 times because they would play a lot, and it was just something to go smoke pot at the Garden and fucking talk, And so, I got to see a lot of bands. A lot of them suck, but I'll tell you, Pink Floyd was one of the good ones. They were amazing.
Yeah, I'm a moderate fan of Pink Floyd. I probably couldn't name any of their tracks because I don't really listen to them often, but you said you've seen Boston? Oh.
Yes, I did. I think
you get
twice.
To that one?
I saw them once. I lived out in Hawaii, and they were playing the Aloha Stadium, I think it was called, Aloha Stadium. They used to call it Rust Stadium because the whole stadium rusted, man. So they called it Rust Stadium. But again, out there in the islands especially, you would see any band that showed up, and you didn't get many shows. So they were doing a fucking show, and we went down and saw them. They sucked. I hated that bullshit. But, again, you're bored. I saw Bob Marley out there.
Damn, nice.
Yeah, and so, not my thing, really, but all my surfer buddies were smoking pot. And, they were into it, so I went down there. I got to tell you now, for a guy who didn't really like reggae that much, he had quite a charisma and kind of won me over. I mean, the crowd was really into it. And then, I got to hand it to the guy. He had a certain fucking thing. He really kind of won me over. I mean, I didn't turn into a fan really, but I understood why people liked him. And before that show, I really didn't. And So he had that thing where he really he won me over, and I'm skeptical. I said, I'm not going to like it, but I ended up really respecting the guy. I did, yeah, Bob Marley. But then I saw Boston, went to the Boston Garden. They love him there because of the name, and they're kind of local guys. But it really wasn't my thing. The Boston bands, I love the Cars. They were a great band.
Yeah, I love
the bands that made it, you know. But I was mainly a guy that hung at the Rat and Chet's Last Call, and you know, so they were all underground bands. The Nervous Eaters, the Real Kids, the Thrills, you know, Unnatural Acts, ton of good bands really that didn't really make it. But anyway, yeah, I saw Boston, and I didn't care for them too much, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, to each their own, but I was like, wow, you saw them twice? How the hell did you sit through that? I can't even get through. I mean, if I've got enough weed in me, I can get through a song, but I don't think I can sit through a Boston album. That music
No,
is
an album,
just...
no. But you got to remember now, this is before the internet, and you would just go to a show,
Yeah.
like I say, just to go. And so half the time we would go out and smoke a joint. We'd fucking let hall at the Boston Garden around the corner by the back men's room, and we'd smoke pot, and then you'd hang out with your friends. You'd wander in and watch a song, then you'd wander out. It was kind of a social thing, but as far as like going and watching the band, no, fuck no. Jethro Tull was another one. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, were they horrible. But, you know, the Who, I saw the original Who, and they were one of them.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I didn't fucking move an inch there. They were amazing. Pink Floyd was great. I watched that whole show too. This was like when they were on Wish You Were Here tour.
See
So
the
they
Beatles?
Who?
See the Beatles?
No, fuck, that was before my time. Fuck no. They had stopped touring in '66. Fucking A, dude. I was
Oh,
young.
they stopped touring
But,
in 66?
Yeah, that was their last show was 1966. I believe. I think, well, their last show they did in '69 was a private thing in the top of some building in London or something. But an actual show, the last one they did was, I believe, in '66. Yeah, they didn't tour for, that was it for them. So.
Damn, I didn't know that. I thought they toured all the way up to 1970 with Let It Be.
No. God, no. No. No, the last show, if you look it up, they did it on the roof of, I believe,
Yeah, I know
Apple
what you're
Records
talking about.
building. Yeah, they did that, and then that was it. That was the last show they did together, I think.
Wow, that's... I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Fuck. But another question I had, which kind of... Well, I mentioned this a little earlier, but for Philippines only, would you allow me to release some of your cassettes over there through my label?
Sure.
Awesome, thank you. Cause yeah, my buddy KK, he's working for my label now. He does a lot of lyric sheets and stuff. Sorry if I sound so groggy. I'm a DoorDasher and I'm hella exhausted, but that's why I sound a little off. But yeah, a lot of
no worries.
My buddy he works for me, and he was like, hey, do you think you could do you think he'd agree to let you release the Queers in the Philippines? Because over there, like, let's say someone's got a love songs or I know I keep mentioning that one. The cost to buy a used version of a cassette or a CD or a vinyl over there is like, it's hella expensive. And so what I try to do is the artists who I interview, I try to also say, hey, can I make a couple short runs of your tapes so that fans in the Philippines don't have to break their bank in order to get it. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Of course, go for it. Yeah, that's fine.
Are there any albums of yours that I can't do that with, or catalog, or
I think it's, how many would you do? You're not doing many, right?
my label is so small that I do runs between 100 to 200. So that's all I can afford.
Yeah, that's fine, because otherwise you're going to have to talk to an Asian man. But if it's something small, just
No,
go
it's
for it.
something big.
If it's just for the Philippines, if you were starting to do mail order around the world, we'd have a problem. But otherwise, something local, by all means, go for it.
Cool. Thank
It's
you.
great,
Appreciate
you know.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Just hit me up anytime if you need for anything or regarding that or whatever. Just hit me up. You can always email or
I was
call or
gonna
whatever.
see if I could do something real quick. if you've got a moment, which he's shy as hell, but I was gonna switch my speaker over and see if I could phone Noodle because he's through Messenger. But I was gonna see if I could phone him up and have you two meet over speakerphone. Would you be okay with that?
Sure.
All right, let me see if I can't switch you from my headset to my main speaker. All right, you still there?
Yeah, down here.
Okay. I hope he answers.
Now, where is he? Is he in the Philippines?
Yeah. Come on. I gave him a warning that this might happen. Come on. Come on, Noodles. I'll call him like twice in a row just to show him I'm serious. Yeah, I told him I was gonna do this yesterday. He's like, no, I'm shy. I was like, come on, dude. You gotta talk to him. Come on. Fuck, he didn't answer. Try one more time. You there? Answer,
come on, Noodle.
answer real quick. Real quick. 10 seconds. Come on. Just answer the fucking phone. You there? You there, man?
Hello.
Hey, it's your... I'm talking to Joe.
Hey, Joe. How are you, man?
Hi, Noodle.
Hey.
How's life?
I'm glad. I'm talking to you right now, Mr. Joe Queer.
Yes, that's Joe Queer.
How are you, sir? How are you? Pardon my English. I'm not really good at it.
Well, it's nice to talk to you anyway, man. Hit me up anytime on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, he's gonna send you a... He agreed that he's gonna sign some albums for you.
That's awesome. It will be great. I'd love to.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad to do it, man. Glad to do it. I'll send you guys a couple special things, too.
Alrighty.
Wow, thank you, Sir Joe. Thank you.
Good,
Love you,
good
love.
to talk to you, Noodles. Be safe, brother. Good to talk to you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Love lots.
Yep, take care.
Alright. Now let me switch this back. You there?
Yeah.
It fucking
got you.
worked. It fucking worked. Good.
Nice.
That's the first time I've ever done that before. I was like, maybe if I just tweak this a little bit, it might do what I want it to do. Yeah, usually
Yeah.
I interview people through Messenger, and I was like, because he's in the... I could have brought him into this call, but he's in the Philippines, and so that's like it's a couple dollars a minute. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to phone him over Messenger to see if he'll answer. But thank you for that. I really appreciate it. You just probably...
Hey, let me ask you, what time is it in the Philippines now?
It's 7:05 p.m. where I'm at, so it's 9:05 a.m. where he's at. They're 14 hours ahead of me, so you're 1 hour ahead of me. They're probably 13 hours ahead of you.
Gotcha. Yeah, my wife's Japanese, and so if we call back to her dad in Tokyo, it's either 12 or 13 hours different. So basically about the same as over there. Yeah, I was just curious.
I just sent hee to him. I just totally changed his entire day with that. I gave him
That's cool.
I gave him a warning. I was like, I'm probably gonna phone you. He's like, no, don't do that. I'm too shy. He's like, too bad. It's time to get over the shyness.
That's right. That's right, Noodles. Come on, dude.
But I think
Yeah, you guys can hit me up anytime. I see him on Facebook anyway. That's nice. I try to get on there and talk to people. I mean, that's the thing about music. I was talking to my buddy Les, and he was in a big band that opened for the Rolling Stones and shit. And, I was saying, dude, the good thing about punk, we didn't get really huge as Green Day, but the cool thing is I can talk to my fans.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like Billy Joe can't do it that much because if he says something wrong, someone will sell their story to like People magazine. You know what I mean? So he's got to be real guarded who he talks to. But, with me, I'm doing a job where I make new friends all the time. Since the COVID thing sucked, but I've made some new friends. I'm talking to you. And that's the great thing about music. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah,
I probably met my wife, and so all my friends are through music.
You met her through music?
What's that now?
I was saying, how did you meet your wife? I'm just curious. Is she from Japan?
Yeah, she was going to Georgia State out here in Atlanta. I live in Marietta, just north of Atlanta. So her ex-boyfriend, they were breaking up, and he dragged her down to the Queers show. He's a big Queers fan, and so we met then and kind of started going out, and then we got married. So
Nice.
yeah, funny show, but that's how it happened.
I met my current wife, well, my only ever wife, through Facebook, through a friend who actually dated her beforehand, and
Oh,
we started dating in July 2016, and then the reason her and him broke up is because he never wanted to go to the Philippines, which I understand that I've been there twice. I'm about to move back there, but she's like,
mm-hmm.
about a year in, she's like, so what are you gonna do? I'm like, which country do you live in again? She's like, Philippines, Manila. So I looked it up and I was like, all right, I'll be there on June 10th, 2017. And I showed up for 45 days, met her in person, met the family. I tried to get her here, but that didn't work because of the Trump administration and their their immigration policies. Well, that's a different discussion. But anyway,
Yeah.
in May of 2018, I moved there until the end of February in 2019. So I lived there for about 9 months. We got married on February 7th, and I was supposed to return on March 3rd, but COVID happened. So now I'm just kind of like,
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
it totally derailed and fucked up everything. Like
Mm.
2020 summer was supposed to be me going around the Philippines, going to punk rock shows, interviewing the bands, doing it there, but which I do it over the phone because there's no shows. And
Yeah.
the one positive thing of it, which as you said earlier, um, COVID has given me the best opportunity to interview the musicians who I've grown up with, including yourself. Like, I've had Keith Morris on here, I've had Jack Grisham, Greg
Yeah. Nice.
Turner. I've had a lot
Yeah.
of punks who I've grown up with, and well, it's a lot easier to. Not everybody isn't as busy. There's no shows, and so it's easier to. Oh, hey, yeah, I've got time on a Saturday for a call. So I've been doing phone interviews this year because, kind of thanks to COVID. So that's one
Well,
positive.
there is a lot of these guys are so busy. I mean, that, yeah, I could see where the COVID now, it's like, shit, oh, you're going to do an interview? Yeah, sure, I'll do an interview because I do them anyway, but a lot of those guys, they're busy. I understand. So, but now everybody has time and it's like, oh, shit. So that's great. You talk to some really cool guys.
Hell yeah, man. But, I'm gonna go eat in a minute. But is there anything else that you wanted to add to this? You've given me a lot of great information, and I think
No, I'm fine. I've
Noodles
got
is
to run
crying in
off to an.
happiness. So
Oh, that's cool, man. I'll hit him up on Facebook. But anyway, you can hit me up anytime yourself. Don't be a stranger. Hit me up anytime on Facebook or text me or whatever the fuck. Now, will your phone work down there in the Philippines? You got to get a new number.
um, so this number you're talking to me on is actually my Google Voice number, and it's ran through my Gmail. So this will work all over the world. But I'm a
Oh, good.
DoorDasher, and
Okay,
my phone, my actual phone, no, it won't work over there. That's why
gotcha.
I've just I installed Google Voice on my smartphone, and this can go through it, and it just there's no phone bill for this. I just have to have Wi-Fi or something, and it works.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, we travel over to Europe, and so usually the guys all have some fucking deal with their phone. So I just bring a laptop and just
Hell yeah,
whatever.
that's the best
I
way to
mean,
do
my
it.
wife, I give her a number for the driver, tour manager. She knows the label, so she can get in touch with me in 2 seconds if she has to. But, otherwise I don't want to have my fucking phone because it's just, I love getting away from the phone for a month. So, I'm in touch with everybody on my laptop. So it's like, whatever. I don't need to fucking
Yeah, I
talk with my
agree.
phone. But, yeah. So, anyway. But, yeah, no, well, thanks for letting us, call me up and let me do the interview.
Of course, man,
I
I appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
And I'll send you a message on Facebook when I've had the when I fuck. I'll send you a message on Facebook when the package has been sent. I cannot speak English.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, send it, and I'll send you guys a couple other stuff. A couple other things I got laying around, and
Thank you.
yeah, just let me know when it's coming, and make sure you put the return address on there or whatever, and I'll send it right back.
Will do, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, listen, be safe, and keep in touch.
Yep. Ciao, ciao.